Tonight, as pressure grows for the Prime Minister to step down immediately, the clamour begins among those vying to succeed him. His former Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, reveals he will run for the top job.
Someone has to grip this moment and make the right decisions. That's why I'm standing, to be the next leader of the Conservative Party and your Prime Minister.
The question is, will the Tories make a meal of electing a successor, or will it be a picnic? We've been speaking to young party members here in Scotland.
And we're here as Transmit Festival kicks off in style, talking to some of the biggest stars
and catching up with the crowds as Scotland's biggest music festival gets underway.
I'm Gordon Cree in Edinburgh.
And I'm Emma Cameron in Glasgow. This is the STV News at 6. Good evening. Well, can Boris Johnson cling on until the autumn? Pressure is growing from senior Conservatives and political opponents who want the Prime Minister to quit Downing Street immediately and not wait for the election of a new leader.
As the race to replace the Prime Minister swung into gear, the former Chancellor Rishi Sunak declared this afternoon he will run. Our Westminster correspondent Catherine Sampson has the very latest.
Are you going to be the next Prime Minister?
Rishi Sunak was staying tight-lipped this morning, but this afternoon announced he is running in a glossy video released online.
Someone has to grip this moment and make the right decisions. That's why I'm standing, to be the next leader of the Conservative Party and your Prime Minister.
Tom Tugendhat has also entered the race for the top job at number 10. Defence Secretary Ben Wallace is widely tipped. He was trying to avoid cameras in his constituency today, but wandered past one.
Ben Wallace, do you know him?
Yes, I do.
What can you tell us about him?
When they finally caught up,
Could we have a quick word?
no answers on his leadership ambitions. And some think Jeremy Hunt will run again.
When will you be making an announcement?
These are the faces of some of the other potential runners and riders. The process to elect a new leader will start next week.
I think that can be done at real pace, which means that actually a new Prime Minister can be in place well before we come back in the latter part of the summer.
That's sooner than the Prime Minister hoped, but some question if the government can really function in these circumstances.
Fact is, he's making ministerial appointments and we are serving the British people in government. That is right and proper.
Labour says it will force a no-confidence vote if the Conservatives don't act.
For them to continue to prop him up would be, I think it would be an act that would see the Conservative Party out of power for a very long time.
Many Tory MPs do want Boris Johnson replaced as quickly as possible.
What we need, I think, is somebody who can unify the party, unify the country, frankly be just a little bit duller than the current incumbent, and just really focus on getting the job done on a day-to-day basis, with none of the distractions or drama that we've witnessed over recent times.
Boris Johnson's predecessor had her fair share of drama, but last night, dancing Queen Theresa May was living her best life, seemingly unconcerned about the Prime Minister's political career crashing down around him.
Well, another person looking more relaxed today is the Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer. This afternoon it emerged that he will not be fined by police over a campaign event in Durham last April, and neither will his deputy Angela Rayner. Well, Catherine joins us now to tell us more on this. Catherine.
Yes, look, it's incredible to think we could have been in a situation this week where two party leaders were being forced to stand down. That's because Sir Keir Starmer took this big gamble. He said, if I get fined by Durham police for this, I will go. Now, this is all about an event where he was seen drinking beer and eating a curry in a Labour office in Durham while lockdown rules were in place. But police announced today they had concluded this event was necessary for work, so no case to answer and no fines. Here's what the Labour leader had to say earlier on.
People said to me I was taking a risk by saying I would step down if I was fined.
But it was never about that. For me, it was a matter of principle. It shouldn't be controversial to say that those who make the law can't break the law. But we have to set the bar far higher than that.
So, huge relief in the Labour Party this evening, but turmoil, of course, continues for the Conservatives. Now, from Monday next week, we should hear about the rules for this leadership contest. Now, some people have been speaking to me and they think there might even be a case where there's a vote every single day next week to try and whittle down the candidates to the final two who'll go out and talk to the membership. I think in the meantime, over the next few hours and certainly over the weekend, you're going to hear more people putting their names forward to run.
Indeed, Catherine. Many thanks for that.
Now, with new runners and riders entering that race to replace Boris Johnson, attention is turning to what the members of the Conservative Party are looking for in their new leader.
The choice of new PM could also have implications for another independence referendum. Our political reporter Laura Alderman has been meeting some young Conservatives to get their thoughts.
Despite their youth, Jess and John have had a taste for politics for quite a few years. Both members of the Conservative Party, they threw their backing behind Boris in the 2019 general election. Now, as he prepares to leave Downing Street, how have they viewed his premiership?
Like everyone else, I'm just glad it's all over. It's a chance to rethink things and try and work on the future rather than concentrating on what has been a bit of a messy 6 months.
Well, I'd agree with Jess. I absolutely think it was the right time. I think if he'd have stayed in office any longer, he would have damaged the United Kingdom, damaged the office of Prime Minister and damaged our party.
Now, let's talk about who might take over from Boris Johnson. Some people have already thrown their hat in the ring, but the bookies' favourite, Ben Wallace. What do you make of him?
From what I've seen of him so far, I think he'll struggle to cut through. He's been in pretty senior positions for a while now and we've still not heard much about him.
I think Ben's got a really good, strong character. He's done really well in the whole Ukraine front.
And what about this guy, ex-Chancellor Rishi Sunak? He's quite popular with young people, isn't he?
He knows what he's doing. He's got the economic experience that he needs to run a country, especially with the cost of living crisis.
He's got a good background in business. He done really well during the pandemic with the furlough scheme, helping so many people. But I think it's maybe too early for him to take the top job.
And finally, there's quite a number of women who are tipped to take the job from Boris Johnson. One of them who's quite popular, Penny Mordaunt. What do you make of her? Would you vote for her?
Probably would vote for Penny. I really like her. She's good at arguing down the SNP and I think that's what we need in Scotland. And I think we need a woman Prime Minister once again.
I think she's charismatic. And she seems like someone who doesn't take herself too seriously but takes the job seriously.
Do you think that the Conservative Party has a lot of work to do in terms of restoring its relationship in the UK and in Scotland especially?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think anyone saying otherwise is probably kidding themselves.
It's clear whoever is the pick of the Conservative crop, they will need the backing of young voters. Laura Alderman, STV News.
The man who was sexually harassed by the SNP MP Patrick Grady claims staff from the party at Westminster feel unsafe working under Ian Blackford's leadership. The victim says he's been threatened with disciplinary action and has had his work emails blocked. Well, our reporter Vanessa Taff joins me now. What's the background to this, Vanessa?
Well, Emma, while working as an SNP staff member, this man was sexually harassed by the Glasgow MP Patrick Grady. Now, Grady was since suspended by the party for 2 days and is currently stepped back as a party member. Now, it's since emerged that his victim has had his work email account suspended. In an exchange with his colleagues at Westminster, the victim has outlined his concerns about staff safety and an unwillingness by the party to consider measures that would change the way that they protect complainers.
So what's been the SNP's response?
Well, in an exchange via email again that the party sent to the victim, he was told that his Westminster colleagues felt threatened and upset by his emails and he was asked to stop sending them. Now, he was also told in this exchange that he was being suspended from accessing his email account. Now, here's what Ian Blackford had to say earlier this week.
I will be held accountable for the way that I've shown leadership to the SNP. I believe that we need to make sure that we're best in class. We will review our procedures. Patrick Grady is not a member of the SNP. I'm not a party official, I'm a parliamentary official, and I'll take my responsibilities as leader of the SNP group.
The SNP also say that as an employer, it's inappropriate for them to comment on staff matters, but they maintain that they have offered to meet with this victim, but they have a duty of care to all of their staff members.
OK, Vanessa, thanks for that.
Other stories across Scotland now, and a man has been jailed for 12 years for a string of sexual assaults, including rape, over a 20-year period. Matthew Mackey from Easton Bartonshire committed the attacks on 3 victims between 1999 and 2019. His youngest victim was just 7 years old when the attacks began. The 68-year-old was sentenced at the High Court in Glasgow earlier today, with his name being added to the sex offenders register indefinitely.
The number of people with COVID-19 in Scotland has risen for the 5th week in a row. According to the Office for National Statistics, around 1 in every 17 people had coronavirus in the last week of June.
Hiring activity among Scottish businesses has slowed for a second month. A report from the Royal Bank has noted a sharp drop in permanent contract availability in June due to ongoing skill shortages, a competitive labour market and Brexit.
More than 25,000 people have signed a petition calling on Holyrood ministers to ensure a significant pay rise for teachers. The teaching union, the EIS, has already rejected a 2.2% increase. They say the rise needs to reflect the current living costs.
We've committed to balloting our members this autumn if there's no significant progress, and the petition was part of the building the support for that ballot if we're forced into that. And I do think this year we could see industrial action in our schools.
Well, we're heading for the weekend, which is traditionally a time we might head to the shops. But recent rail strikes and the cost of living crisis are among the reasons for the lack of people on our high streets. Figures from the Scottish Retail Consortium show use of local retailers dropped by 15% last month.
Glasgow and Edinburgh have fared reasonably well, but experts are concerned about towns and smaller cities which aren't big shopping hubs. Well, Susan Ripple is in one of those areas and joins us live now from Hamilton. Susan.
Yeah, so if you take a look at the street behind me, I mean, it's going to look familiar to a lot of people because it's not just Hamilton that looks like this. There's towns and smaller cities across the country that are having difficulty with empty units on their high streets. To the left of me, there's a department store here. It's been empty for around about 3 years now. There was talk of a large pub chain moving in there. That's still not happened yet. Earlier on, I was chatting to a chap called Frank. He gets the bus in from Lark Hall into Hamilton, but he was telling me how sad it is now when he gets the bus in because he sees all these empty units on the way in. But it's not all gloom and doom here. There are businesses that are coming into the town centre to try and diversify what's on offer here.
It's hard to imagine this as anything other than a climbing centre. But believe it or not, this space was once an Argos. The owner had his sights set on an industrial estate, but his mum had a better idea.
Phoned me up one day and said, listen, I was looking at this place, what about it? And I saw it was in a shopping centre in Hamilton. I'm like, no way. It's going to be too small. It's going to be too short, this, that and the other thing. But as soon as we walked in the door, it was like, this is it. This is perfect. And because it's in a town centre, it just means it's a lot more accessible as well, particularly for anybody who doesn't drive.
And adapting big empty retail units in this way is now key for cities and town centres. Hamilton has lost a lot of department stores and recently M&S. The units are still empty, which means less people are coming into town. Leslie's been in the business for 17 years. She's recently rebranded and moved locations.
It's not been easy being a retailer in recent years with the lengthy shutdowns during lockdown. That was a complete nightmare for any business. My hopes are to expand my shop and to gain some new customers and just to encourage local people to support the businesses that are trying really hard.
Edinburgh and Glasgow are great shopping destinations. They're always going to do well. They'll always come back. People are always going to travel there. It's other particularly kind of towns that maybe haven't been able to invest or haven't done so. Those are the places retailers have made quite difficult decisions over the last year. So do we still need to keep a physical presence here, or are we better shifting to online? Are we better getting people to travel to out of town?
There's a lot of pride in Hamilton, but it's about getting the word out, encouraging people to see what's on offer here.
And there is hope, of course, that things will get a bit better here, not just in Hamilton but across the country. But really the key is, don't just shop local now. Why don't you try the town next to where you live, see what they have to offer, and that'll help those businesses a lot.
OK, Susan in Hamilton, many thanks for that. Now, volunteering opportunities have transformed the lives of young people working in some of Scotland's most disadvantaged communities. Research shows it has improved their mental health, confidence and made them better prepared to transition into the workplace. It comes as 1,200 new volunteers are recruited across Scotland, as Caitlin Hutchison reports.
Sam has come straight from his night shift to volunteer at this summer camp for kids in Govan.
It's good to get to a club and try and stay away from just being out in the street. Confidence, a lot of communication. I didn't really like talking at first, but as soon as I came here, I talk a lot. I know a lot of the young people in here, especially young ones that come up and then they become positive role models and then they get to do what I do.
He's one of 14 young volunteers that run this camp every year.
As you get older, you want to explore new things, but so you've just been in the house doing nothing, you'll be out meeting new people and just before you know it, you have new friends. You can make a new best friend in less than 2 months.
120 children come here each day during the summer holidays. It's completely free and lunch is provided too.
A lot of organisations like ourselves, you'll know that they'll say without the volunteers it's practically impossible to run. Volunteers are the spine of it and it's young people's.
Research shows that 77% of young people believe volunteering has improved their mental health, while 84% say it's increased their confidence. And all of them say that it's fun.
It gives them the opportunity to develop vital life skills, to support their positive mental health and well-being, to make connections and build relationships, to have a positive impact on their community and also to access pathways into future employability.
It's so rewarding, but then also you realise how much you get to make an impact in someone's life, and that's very rare these days.
New funding for the I Will project means that 1,200 young people will now get to train as volunteers. For those like Sam and Dean, and communities like this one, it's an opportunity that's proved life-changing. Caitlin Hutchison, STV News, Glasgow.
Well, Raman's here with the latest from Centre Court.
Get your fill of the action. STV Sport, sponsored by Papa John's Pizza.
On to football news, and Rangers have signed Welsh international Tom Lawrence. The forward, who was a free agent after leaving Derby County, says he's delighted to have made the move and can't wait to get started. Manager Giovanni Van Bronckhorst says Lawrence will add attacking options to his team.
Get your fill of the action. STV Sport, sponsored by Papa John's Pizza.
Well, how's the weather looking for the big festival weekend in Glasgow? Sean's here with the forecast.
The outlook for the day is calm and settled. TUI Blue Hotels sponsor STV Weather.
Now, over the last couple of days, I've had quite a lot of you messaging from the west of the country saying, where is our summer? We feel so left out compared to the east, where they've seen some high temperatures, sunshine. For the west, we've held on to more breeze, cloud, and lower temperatures. We get to enjoy a little bit of that at times across Ayrshire this weekend, that sunshine, the high temperatures. But unfortunately, across Argyll, the Highlands, once again, we hang on to a lot of cloud and the slightly lower temperatures. But into tomorrow morning, a lovely start today. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures tonight dropping down to about 10 or 11 degrees Celsius, mostly dry. Into tomorrow, we'll start to see clouds spreading back into the Highlands and across mainland Argyll, the Hebrides, misty weather, drizzly outbreaks of rain. Temperatures here 15 degrees, central eastern areas in the brighter skies, 21 to 22, so feeling nice in the sunshine, but will be a bit more cloud around during the afternoon. Then on Sunday, once again, we hang on to thickest cloud across Argyll, especially the Hebrides. Further east, we hang on to that drier and sunnier weather. Top hot spots I expect on Sunday, probably in Glasgow city centre itself, 23 degrees. As we head into North Lanarkshire, temperatures 21, 22, still feeling very nice in that sunshine. And of course, remember the UV levels high as well. But I expect top spots will be around Falkirk, Clackmannanshire and into Fife, where temperatures will peak around 23 or 24 degrees, possibly even higher as we head into Monday. So for Transmit, it is looking like a good weekend. They picked a great weekend for it. Lots of dry and sunny weather, more cloud, possibility of a few very isolated showers tomorrow afternoon. But a great weekend. Remember the suntan lotion, drink plenty of water. Lots of dry and sunny weather on Monday.
TUI Blue Hotels sponsor STV Weather.
Well, as we've been hearing, the wait is finally over for festival goers as the doors have opened at Transmit at Glasgow Green.
Yes, Paolo Nutini is top of the bill on tonight's lineup as he makes his return to the stage. Laura Boyd is there for us.
Well, I'm backstage here at Transmit Festival. The gates opened earlier today. It's a sold-out day, and over this weekend, 150,000 people are set to descend on Glasgow Green to see the likes of The Strokes, Sam Fender and Lewis Capaldi, and this man, Tom Grennan, who I'm delighted to be joining.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy to be here. I'm no stranger. It's 4 years. I think This is my 4th year doing Transmit, and I think Glasgow for me is probably up there with one of my favourite places on the planet. The crowds are crazy here. I feel like when I come up here, I'm just one of you lot. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be great weekend. And obviously the big man Paolo Nutini's playing. I love Paolo. His new album. So glad he's back. So I'm be sticking around for him. And just happy to be here.
Well, Tom, like you, so many people are excited about Paolo Nutini tonight, as Polly Bartlett found out when she went out and about earlier on to chat to the crowds.
Woke up cold one Tuesday. I'm looking tired and feeling quite sick.
For tens of thousands of music fans, the wait is finally over.
So I quickly opened the wall.
So excited. I do Transmit every year, have a great time. Every act's just exciting and it's going to be a great day.
The music, the fun, the crowds, it just gives that good vibe.
She's obsessed with Lewis Capaldi.
I'm obsessed with Lewis Capaldi. I came here for Lewis Capaldi, but obviously I'll see everyone else, but I am here for Lewis Capaldi.
Best Scottish festival ever, by a mile.
Well, it's early in the day, but there's already an incredible atmosphere here on Glasgow Green as Scotland's biggest music festival gets underway. A whole host of artists will be taking to that stage behind me across the weekend. But it seems there's only one man everyone's here to see.
That's right, Paolo Nutini is back. These triplets from Bournemouth have travelled across the country to see his return to the stage.
My dog, French Bulldog, is named after Paolo, so he's called Paolo, and we're just so excited to see him. His new album is unbelievable and we cannot wait to see him.
But Transmit isn't just about the headliners. It gives a platform to local performers too.
It's quite hard getting your name out there in Scotland, especially being a young mixed-race woman. Just being asked, to be honest, and getting my name out there, obviously. Getting the crowd, getting the Scots on my side as well. I have found it's been quite a slow burner just because there's not a lot of big venues in Scotland to play. So being here hopefully will steal some fellow Scots and get them along the way.
It's such an honour because we've been playing together for about 6 years, so we've always spoke about what would it be like to play Transmit or what would we do and stuff, and it's mad to be in the situation that we've always spoke about, so it's an honour,
It's a bit like kind of shell shock almost after you played, you know, like it was just in a complete kind of didn't know what to think, but amazing.
This is just the beginning of Transmit's 5th outing on Glasgow Green. Lewis Capaldi, The Strokes and Sam Fender are all still to come. Plenty of music and maybe a bit of mayhem for those lucky enough to get their hands on a ticket.
Well, I'm joined now by man of the moment himself, Mr. Sam Fender. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Fresh from playing an amazing set at Glastonbury. Can we expect more of the same here at Transmit?
I think the crowd will actually
probably be a bit more bouncing here because Glasgow is normally one of our best shows. So I've got high expectations tonight. So.
You do love this festival, don't you?
I do. I love playing Glasgow. Glasgow on the last run was one of the best nights of the whole tour. So I'm really excited.
And we've got you, and then we've got Paolo Nutini. Did you become friends actually backstage here at Transmit?
Yes, last year was when I met him. And there's just loads of pictures of us like on his back. He gave us a piggyback ride around the whole place. It was pretty mental, and then since then we've been good pals, and I'm excited to see him tonight, so it's going to be nice.
We can't wait to see both of you. Thank you so much for joining us. You've got a show to do. I need to go and get front stage. We shall see you later. Enjoy if you're coming to Transmit. More on STV across the weekend.
And that's all for tonight and from this very busy week.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.